Greetings, kindred spirits. It is Anya, aka the Hayoka. And I am here to give you guys a general collective energy tarot reading. So let's just dive right in and see what energies we can pick up on from the collective at whatever moment that you are on the receiving end of these messages. All right, so this is just going to be a quickie. Oh, we already got one. Okay, so someone's inspired to start something but has not done so yet. Potentially a creative block. So we're going to turn anything that comes out reverse, we're going to turn upright because we want to tap into that energy and make it happen. Welcome, everybody. Sorry if I'm not going to welcome you guys in by name because I'd like to keep my focus on the reading. Your power goes where your attention flows, or your power flows. You always get that messed up. Your power flows where your attention goes. And my little silly saying is that your focus is your hocus pocus, because we create or manifest our reality through what we choose to focus our attention on. This is why they say that we pay attention. Your attention is your means by which you create the reality that you experience. Okay, guys. All right. Let's see what other energies come up for us right now in the collective. And by collective, I mean anyone and everyone who is drawn to these readings, who is drawn to my community, and who it resonates with the energies that we receive. All right, guys, just okay, yeah, so with your questions, hold on to those questions for the Q&As, for the designated Q&A sessions. Right now, we're just doing a quick, whoa, it's too many. Right now, I'm going to shuffle on my side to keep it, to just make it a little bit easier. So, okay, so I'm not going to be answering. As a matter of fact, if I have enough time, stick around to the end of the reading, and I just might be able to answer a couple questions. I try to do that, but hold on to them for now. I do the designated question and answer sessions pretty often now. So for those of you guys who have some ideas and you want to put them into action, do not let fear hold you back. Don't let excuses, don't let your mind give you excuses just because you're either fearing it's not going to happen. Maybe you're procrastinating. Maybe, you might be a little bit lazy, but I don't think it's lazy. I think when we feel lazy, I think it's more of a fear of failure or even a fear of success. So like I said, we're going to flip over our cards so that they're in the for the Light Seers Tarot, she doesn't say upright and reversed. She actually says the Light Seer and the Shadow Seer. So she defines them really differently, which I think is really innovative and unique and gives it a really fresh perspective. So that the upright and reversed energies are not all that different from one another. It's just a matter of the perspective from which you're viewing them. All right, welcome in everybody. Every single energy that you, all of your energies that are here combined create this, are co-creating this shared experience. So just know that just by being here in our ethereal room, you are contributing to this reading and the energies that we receive as guidance and insight from the above and beyond. God, Source, Creator, the universe, your spirit guides, our teams, whoever might be working on your team, like angelic entities. There's Nicole. What's up, girl? Hope you're doing good today. So I'm trying to just do a general collective energy check-in. I'm shuffling and I'm waiting for something to pop. Okay, as I said that, we had two cards just fly out. Okay, so today's page day. Pages, I don't know, you guys been doing a lot of reading? Silly mom joke, right? You know how the dad jokes? I came up with the mom jokes, the cheesy jokes. So another page. So not only inspired to create something new or act on an inspiration to do something you haven't done before, for instance, right? Which is all forms of creation, but also learn something new, right? So maybe could be furthering your education, whether it's formal or informal, or just something's piqued your interest and you want to know a lot more about it. So you are essentially you are expanding your awareness about some particular subject. To me, I feel like it's metaphysics or the supernatural, maybe even tarot specifically, or divination. And you want to understand like how it works and how is it that these cards resonate with me, and how psychic experiences happen, and how the third eye and all of that good stuff. I feel like a lot of you guys might be looking into actually the workings of the synchronicities and the angel numbers you're experiencing, researching what do they mean, well, thank you for the invite. I'm gonna have to decline. Okay, also popped out with another reverse of Nine of Wands, where this could indicate a feeling of maybe feeling like you're alone and not able to stand in your own power by yourself. But like I said, we're going to flip the cards over upright. So now, standing in your own power, kind of establishing yourself, finding out your personal power. Like I was saying in the beginning, that your power flows where your attention goes. And this is like a card of someone who, for instance, has found that they don't need anyone or anything outside of themselves in order to not only like find their personal power, but to use their personal power to manifest whatever they desire. So here you're manifesting potentially, creative projects or ideas. You're potentially expanding your knowledge base or awareness here. And all of this is contributing to your ability to, shine bright like a diamond all on your own. Let's see what else we get. So there's a lot of people who are just developing themselves, kind of like the old school term of like personal development. There was that section in Barnes and Noble, self-help. We don't use that term anymore because it's like doesn't even really make sense. It's more about how are you enhancing your life without necessarily incorporating anyone or anything outside of yourself, right? This is self-exploration here. A page is the energy of a page is someone like it's a very it's kind of like an apprentice or an intern type energy, like someone who is in, like I said, just the whole process of enhancement of your understanding of something, your process of enhancement of trying new things and seeing, through maybe trial and error, what works, what doesn't work, and not being afraid to do that, because what's the worst that can happen, right? You might fail, you get up and try again, and then you find that you can stand in your power. Look at that look on her face. She's like, I can do anything. I don't need necessarily anyone or anything outside of myself in order to evolve and grow from within to without. It's as within, so without, right? Okay, let's get more energies about where the collective's at. So this is really nice. Everyone's really focused on kind of like self-improvement, or at least the majority of you guys are. Maybe some of you are newly single or just kind of acclimating to, okay, so this, I'm getting a lot of different energies. So some of you guys might be initiating, especially with these two pages here. You know what? I'm going to use my little friend here. I realize she's really helpful when she likes to help hold my cards. as like a reference so that we can refer back to them. So with these two pages together as indicators of our collective energy in general is, like I said, all about self-development, all about evolution of your mind, but mind, body, spirit, it's all connected. So you can say, of course, the evolution of the mind and evolution of the soul are parallel things. You can't have one without the other. You can't augment or transform one without the other. And this whole month of May, as I've been telling you guys, is one huge transformation portal. This is the most auspicious time to transform yourself, to initiate spiritual alchemy. Yeah. So from like the deepest layers of becoming who this purest and truest and highest version of yourself, because up till now you've been trying to discover who that self really is. It's not that voice in your head or all the thoughts that you think, because you don't associate with that anymore. It's the consciousness behind the thoughts that's observing the thoughts and everything that's going on internally and externally. That's much closer to the true you, who you are. You are a soul. And now you're developing your human avatar because you've learned that you learned what your power is. Like I was saying, your power flows where your attention goes. What is your attention? Your consciousness. And from the spiritual perspective, it's consciousness, or I'm sorry, from like the more scientific perspective, they call it consciousness. And then from our spiritual perspective, we call it like spirit or soul. So these two things are one and the same. So yeah, so this is definitely a major, like I said, this whole month is a major transformation portal, becoming the best version of yourself. And in doing so, you are engaging in creativity, you are engaging in enlightening yourself, studying something, maybe, like I said, whether it's you're actually going into some kind of formal schooling or certification, or you're just doing this out of interest. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but there's a really amazing connection here, I feel like, between how we were talking about this transformation portal, because it's not only about adding or enhancing yourself, it's also about purifying what isn't you, to make space for what is more resonant for who you truly are. That's the nature of this spiritual alchemy transformation that I've been talking about. With that first full moon is in Scorpio. Yeah, and Scorpio is all about death and rebirth. And then that last full moon that's going to come on the 31st, Sagittarius, that's about that butterfly metaphor, hatching out of your cocoon, and now you're free to fly as this lighter version of yourself, and more expansive and adventurous. And, you've basically, like I said, this is spiritual alchemy from the level of the soul. Okay, so we know this. Spirit, what other messages can you give us to give us more insight, give us more guidance as a collective? Obviously, these themes are going to play out more specifically and uniquely for each and every one of you guys that resonates with this. I feel like there's a theme of, I started talking about it, but I didn't get there. Like, if you are newly single, or you are in a partnership but we're too reliant or too enmeshed maybe with that partner, or with other people in general, family members or friends, you're now, like I said, coming more into your personal power, where there's this experience of the energy of independence and freedom, which again brings me back to, at the end of this portal, that Sagittarius full moon energy is going to allow you to fully, like, spread your wings and fly, so to speak. Oh, okay, so my throat chakra, that hasn't happened in a while. I just got a little tiny block right there for a millisecond. So there's still some of you guys in this collective that have yet to have conversations to speak your truth, where you weren't able to before, or were too afraid, or it wasn't the right time, or you weren't ready or whatever, because a few weeks ago, my throat chakra, just every time I did a reading, I just like kept, there was, I had to clear my throat a bunch. There was like burps coming. It was all kinds of stuff. And I told you guys, have those difficult conversations, speak your truth, because you cannot grow without that. And it's not in everybody's best interest for you to hold back important truths. Lies of omission are also untruths. So, okay, hold those questions for the designated Q&A sessions, guys. Okay. Oh, I did say if I had time, I could do maybe a question or two. I had a couple of. Ooh, they didn't even fall on the floor. They got stuck somewhere between my desk and the floor. Okay. Beautiful energy here. So yeah, the Eight of Pentacles working here around the clock, around the moon, around the lunar cycle. So definitely putting some effort and work, working smart and hard, potentially, but mostly smart. See, she's got all of this like ritualistic equipment. It's just metaphor. It's just metaphors for having the necessary resources that you need in order to put the work in and for whatever it is that you're trying to manifest or create. See here, expanding your knowledge, gaining new information, and wisdom. And well, wisdom is a little bit more complex because it's combined with experience. Unleashing your creativity, all of this combined, standing in your power, feeling proud, like kind of like that one song from Encanto, what else can I do? When you finally see something that you've done that comes to fruition and you are pretty amazed, you're like, okay, so now I know what I'm capable of, and now what else am I capable of? Take it to the next level. So yeah, so as I was talking about this moon portal, so it's interesting how in this Eight of Pentacles there's this moon portal. But yeah, this is all about work, putting the work into the things that matter to you the most, channeling your attention, being really wise and very, there's a perfect word, not diligent, very specific. Oh, there's this perfect word. Being very conscious, that's not it, but basically being very selective. I think that might be it. Yeah, so being very like conscious, wise, and selective about where you put your attention. Remember, we pay attention because it is a very valuable, if not priceless, asset that we have, because we use it to create the reality we experience. So you make the conscious choice of where you're going to place your attention, because then you're going to more than likely be putting more energy, like physical energy, into that as well. Then you reap what you sow, right? Because you're planting seeds, you're watering those seeds, you're tending to your garden, and then you're going to then enjoy the flowers that bloom. Obviously, this is all one big metaphor, but it stands for what you're doing during this portal and this springtime in general as well. So here, some of you guys might actually want to write something or are writing something, but I feel like you want to write something like a memoir or some kind of, and you're maybe blocked creatively, as some of you guys feel a creative block because there's heart healing that's still taking place with this green candle. Heart healing from pains of the past, which is another thing you're alchemizing during this portal time. Any lingering pains within the heart, letting go of people, beliefs, habits, and parts of your lifestyle that no longer serve, that are obsolete, that are not helping you get to where you want to be. It's important, I believe, to be present, because this is the other card that came out now, is the Four of Wands. I think it's really important to be present in every moment, because there's only one moment, and that is the eternal now. Because a minute ago it was now, and a year from now it'll be now, right? It's only now. So yeah, completely present, completely one with what's all that is, and feeling that freedom of that oneness, because everything is connected at levels so deep and so like beyond our human avatar's brain conception. That interconnectedness is so deep and so intricate, and so, like I said, it's for us to even wrap our minds around, let alone explain. So knowing that we are so deeply connected with one another, with nature, with all that is, and that presence is almost like the portal for which we can feel that connection in every moment. And it's a beautiful thing, beingness, presence, being completely and fully experiencing every now moment. I know it gets confusing because there's the linear time, so there's a paradox. But there's also this thing where almost all spiritual truths, if not all, are paradoxes. Philosophical and spiritual truths are all paradoxes to some degree. But going back to goals, right? So they're both important things to weigh into the equation here. Setting goals and working towards them around the lunar cycle, around the clock, but here's my lunar cycle, which is like to me a confirmation of this portal I've been talking a lot about, for you guys to make the most of this particularly auspicious time to do all of this creativity and enhancement and purification. And so balancing, or as a matter of fact, synergizing, if that's a word, but you know what I mean, this freedom of complete presence and the experience of that interconnectedness with all that is, with the moment, with one another, and just the feeling that this card, look at that card, just the feeling that it brings. They're not worried about yesterday or tomorrow, that's for sure. Very fiery energy in general. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We're going into Taurus season, so we have the Pentacles as well here. So Taurus, Leo, Virgo. There's every sign. So we have every element here, with the exception of Cups so far. I don't know, guys. I don't think I'm going to have time for questions. Not today, unfortunately. But I'll make it up to you guys. I will next week. So Monday, I'll do like an extra long questions session. But here's the thing. Hopefully, thank you for the follows. Thank you. Everyone who's followed me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Everyone who's liked us, thank you. And I'm focused on the reading, so I don't, always look at the comments, but hopefully you understand. So keep doing what you're doing. You're manifesting your desired reality. Be very, there's that word again that's on the tip of my tongue. Mindful is a different version of what I'm trying to say, of where you're placing your attention. So here, making the most of the present moment, yes, but also being mindful of where you're placing your personal power and your attention, because that's what you are going to cultivate more of, that energy. And not only that, but also, yeah, some of you guys, your throat chakras are blocked. Some conversations need to be had. Some truths need to be spoken in order for you to progress on your personal journey at this time. Utilize this month as an opportunity to do that. See, I'm even like, I never stutter, but I just started stuttering there. So to me, that says that there's some fear about speaking your truth, or even making some changes in your life, because you're afraid of how the people around you are going to react. You're afraid that maybe they might push you away or judge you, or, some of these fears are deeply ingrained into us energetically, that come from our ancestors. Like, for instance, being banished from the tribe equals death, more very likely, right? And stepping outside of the known, the comfort zone, into the unknown, which is nowadays, when you're guided to do so, that's a matter of soul evolution. And it's if your current situation is not serving you in whatever area or facet of life, and it's even painful, toxic, no longer, and you know you need to get out of it, but the only way to do it is to step into the unknown. And most people will just stick with what's familiar and what's known to them, even if it doesn't serve, even if it's toxic and painful. I've talked about this before. Rather than stepping into the unknown, because the unknown is scary, we inherited we inherited all of that from our ancestors, because for our ancestors, for instance, stepping into the unknown could equal death. So, these energetic aspects of our DNA, I'm assuming it's that, the non-physical, but the kind of the ancestral, we call it ancestral wound, because there's just the ancestral cycles of the on the energetic plane, right? So, for instance, like, there's that example with the mushrooms, right? So a bunch of our ancestors sitting around, and they're talking about which mushrooms are safe. Oh, that one tastes really good, and that one killed Pete, and the third one will make you see God for a week. So like, for the very first humans or whatnot, the cave people, right? They stepping into the unknown could have equaled death. So here's where, after all these cycles, where we are now, we don't no longer need to fear the unknown to that degree. So, but understanding where we inherit our fears from, I think, helps us to not judge ourselves as much. That's to understand why it's easier for us to not speak the truth in order to keep the peace. Okay? Because, back in the day, peace was probably a lot more important than your whole family getting killed. So just kind of understanding that we are our ancestors, and there are these cycles or spirals that get passed down over time. And we, with every new generation, we have the opportunity to break the cycles that no longer serve, as well as heal whatever wounding has occurred over years of humans persecuting and destroying one another, and to advance to a higher spiritual level, which makes way for the next generation, to come through and have a foundation from which to start, that is on a completely different, or completely much higher, dimensional, like from a multidimensional perspective plane. We're in the 3/4D matrix, the time-space continuum, and we are capable, but the potential, right? Because if you look at, like, science, for instance, time travel should be possible, but we can't do it yet. Okay, so there are at least 11 dimensions, says math, and that's for sure. But we are still kind of stuck, so to speak, in 3/4 of them. All right, I went into this crazy rant. Sorry, guys. All right, let's get one more card. Maybe one more card to close out, and then I got to go for the weekend. So Temperance, a really good reminder going into the weekend to stay in balance, to not give in to old temptations of whatever kind of behaviors or thought patterns that you're trying to release during this portal, so that you can purify your soul and your mind, you know, body, mind, spirit, everything's connected, to, you know, presence and balance are really, really strongly connected. We've had the Temperance card come up quite a bit lately. So one of our big goals right now is to establish the balance between, for example, producing and consuming. And that comes in a lot of forms, not just physical, but how much are we giving and how much are we receiving? And what is the balance between that of our energy? There's the yin and there's the yang, just like is pictured here. And I think it's very ideal to attempt to, within every day, to take note, you know, and be conscious and aware of how much are we receiving within, to the ratio or proportion to how much we are giving, and keep that within balance as much as possible. And that will be that's very self-serving, as well as serving the others around you, because every choice that we make and every action we take ripples out and affects everything and everyone around us, and a lot further than we even realize. Like I said in the beginning, everything is so deeply and intricately interconnected that it extends far beyond our level of comprehension at this current level of evolution of our minds and even our spirit, as a human collective. Okay, so hopefully I didn't overcomplicate things too much. I hope everybody has a beautiful, wonderful, blessed weekend. And remember, we are our ancestors, and every choice we make ripples out back in, back into time, so to speak. You know, we live in linear time, but time is really circular and non-existent, really. So every single even thought that we think ripples out, because it is a frequency, it is an energy, towards our ancestors and then towards our descendants. So those who have come before and those who will come after. We are that powerful, each and every one of us. All right, guys, love you all.